Welcome back to another episode of the Flaherty Solutions podcast. On this Thanksgiving episode, we're going to discuss food, gratitude, and how to deal with your family.
Yeah.
That's right. This is a Flaherty Solutions podcast focused on building wealth around what matters most to you in your life. Before we jump into these three topics, Aaron, we started this podcast off as a way to promote your new franchise opportunities. You've already roughly sold 2.
Yeah.
In a record-breaking time, but we're no surprise there. You got to do everything world record style.
That's how I do.
It's how you do it. Can you tell us a little bit about, what is a Flaherty Solutions opportunity?
So Flaherty Solutions is a bookkeeping franchise. It's a bookkeeping company, and there's a real need for bookkeepers. Every small business spends money and makes money, and they don't just get a W-2 like employees do every single year. So it is essential and necessary, they might mean the same thing, to track their income and expenses so that tax time, they know what to input into their tax return and what their taxable income is. So it's something that every business needs. And I was able to build this business around my kids' preschool schedule, basically. So my youngest is in kindergarten this year, and this is the longest day I've ever had to have with her in school, and I've been able to build a 6-figure business from my house around a very flexible schedule. So I thought to myself, well, other people might want to do the same thing, and since the need for bookkeeping is not going away, and we can't service the entire United States by ourselves, I made Flaherty Solutions a legitimate franchise that people can buy into. And right now, I won't get into specifics, but until January 15th, the franchise fee is 80% off because I'm committed to opening 100 locations in 2020. So that means that I need people to commit before January 15th, 2020, so that they can take advantage of tax season. So January to April is definitely a
crunch
season.
time. It's crunch time for your business.
Does that answer your question?
That does answer my question. Thank you very much.
Do you like my sweater?
It is pretty crazy. Where'd you get that?
I got this. If you're on Kent Island or on the Eastern Shore, I got this from the local Hope Boutique. I wanted to stop in. It's on Postal Road. And I've been wanting to stop in for a while, and I did. I had a chance yesterday, and I got something funky.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I like it.
And our kids are home today.
So if we have any interruptions,
it'll be interesting.
Please bear with us.
Yep.
Our little
But we
angels.
won't. We might have bribed with Halloween candy. Maybe.
Yes, we still have bags and bags of Halloween
Yeah,
candy.
it's getting smaller.
It is. It is. All right, should I do a shout out? I'm doing a quick
Yes.
shout out to Tom Spray Fry. Tom Spray Fry left a comment the other day. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback, so thanks to everyone.
Yes.
But there's only a few bold people that will go out there and put in the comment section. So we want to give a shout out to Tom. Tom's a financial advisor up in Townsend. He actually helped me get my start. He told me the first year was going to suck. You're not going to make any money, but just stick with it. And he was very, very true. Very right.
Can I tell the funny story? First of all, thank you, Tom, so much. I love when people in the same industry they're not afraid to comment on something that's a similar industry. There's an abundance mindset that there's enough business to go around. We all have our perfect clients, and I love that when we can all just be friends.
Yep.
But the funny story, so Tom Sprayfry was in my B&I group 11 years ago?
Yeah, it's
a long time ago. And you and I were engaged.
Yep.
And we were talking to Tom about what he does. He's a financial advisor. And you said, yes. And all of a sudden, Kevin, out of the blue, says, I've always wanted to be a financial advisor. And we're at a party. And I go, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you. And you clammed up like it was and you were like, but we're engaged. Like, that's embarrassing. But I didn't know it about you until we were talking to Tom. So very funny.
I used to get super embarrassed when Erin didn't know something about me or I didn't know something about her. I was like, what will people think? Like, they care.
We moved kind of fast, so that's probably why. But we're still learning things about each other.
That's right. All right, well, Tom, thank you, as always.
Yeah.
And you can check out Tom. He's on TV a bunch and all the good things. Awesome dude. But Tom, stay on your side of the bridge. Eastern Shore's mine, buddy.
Well, and to that point, though, we're getting so much feedback about how awesome this podcast is. Please leave a review on iOS, or where else?
Spotify. It's on basically every single podcast platform that there is out there.
If you find it valuable, please share it with your friends. I mean, there are so many ways to share this because we're on video now. We're on iOS. We're on Spotify. We're on Stitcher. Okay.
Breaking Bad Radio. All these different. That's not a real thing. But
no, we should make it one.
Yeah, I'm not opening up a podcast business. All right, into the first topic. You know, every day I hear I'm supposed to yo-yo diet, I'm supposed to fast, I'm supposed to, only drink water from a coconut that has been set under the sun for 24 hours, keto, everything. There are so many different food mysteries out there.
Yes.
What is going on? What should I eat?
It's never ending so I majored in health education. I clearly do nothing with that degree except I'm interested, and that's why I majored in it. I think I talked about it in episode 1. We're getting up there to where we can talk about like episode 1, this is episode 4.
5.
What?
Yep, that's right. Way back in the day when we were shooting episode 1.
We talked about my background, and I have a degree in health education. So I'm very interested in health, but that's as far as I take it. Yeah. And it goes back to when, you and I grew up in the 80s. And it goes back to when eggs were bad, butter was bad. Now eggs is they're a superfood, and that's a new term. I don't think superfood was a word in the 80s.
Well, it wasn't a word until like 5 years ago.
Right. So is anybody else confused about what they're supposed to be eating for optimal health? Because I am. So last year, I literally saw people eating butter out of containers because they were on keto.
I missed that. I'm kind of glad I missed that.
I went to a meeting.
That's weird, people.
A consulting meeting, like a group consulting, and this woman was literally eating butter with a fork, and she's like, "Don't mind me, I'm on keto." So she was eating eggs and butter with a fork because it was keto. So so you've got that. You have intermittent fasting, which you can do intermittent fasting with any diet, but then now that Game Changers is on Netflix, plant-based is back. Yep. And Forks Over Knives was the first plant-based.
Was 2010. We went plant-based for a little while.
I always have liked the idea of going plant-based. I was a near vegan for a while. I was a near vegetarian for a while. I've always kind of been a flexitarian because I feel like, but for me, it's just, I don't think.
Flexitarian.
I know. It sounds very...
It sounds like something Mr. Mackey would say.
Well, it sounds like if the kids said, the kids say, you're a Visco girl. I'm like, I'm a flexitarian. There's a Visco girl, flexitarian. If you have tweens and teens, you know, Visco girl is the new thing. So I'm very flexitarian in my Visco girlness. Yep. So I've always liked the idea of plant-based just because I don't feel like things should have to die for me to eat, but that's for me. And it sounds like if it grows in the ground,
it's supposed to be healthy.
It's supposed to be healthy, but then I've resigned to eating meat for 2 reasons. First of all, it's very convenient. You all eat meat, so it's way more convenient for me to eat meat. So I just was like simplify. But also, I notice when you eat meat, you're eating fewer carbs and bread, so the scale stays where I like it. So that's why I like eating meat.
It fills you up. Without the carbs.
Right. You're more satiated without having to turn to a tortilla.
I'm on an all-carb diet right now.
Are you, Regina George? Little known fact, some of you, Libby Roberts knows that.
What's up, Libby?
What's up, Libby? Libby knows that one of your nicknames from me is Regina George.
That's right.
So.
And your hair is full of secrets.
And I am Gretchen.
All right, so I'm on an all beer and all wings diet, and that really seems to work for me. Just kidding. No, but it is tough. Like yesterday, I was driving around Cambridge. I wanted to go out to lunch, and I realized I have been trying to eat better. And I looked at all the restaurants, and there was not one single healthy option to go to. Right. You can't go to McDonald's and get a salad because the salads are deceiving. They're really like 1,500 calories. But literally driving around in Cambridge, I was like, I'm never going out to lunch again because it is just all like, we're keeping this PG or
whatever. Do you?
It's all shit food. Like all fast food, all like restaurants. they make food that is just going to pack it on.
Yeah.
So my question, I am coming to a question. I finally decided to go Chinese, and I didn't get my normal sesame chicken because it was just, I know it's just full of sugar, full bread.
Nice.
So I went with the beef Szechuan style. I'm not saying that right, but that's how we're rolling today. What is the healthiest option you can get at a Chinese restaurant?
In my opinion, it is shrimp and vegetables with a light sauce. Now, I'm a sucker for the brown sauce, so I don't know if there's a lighter sauce, but shrimp and vegetables is that's my go-to if I'm trying to be healthy.
I just feel like all the sauces there, it's like Chick-fil-A. Everybody's like, oh, Chick-fil-A is so good for you.
Right,
but if you really find out, Chick-fil-A is loaded with
one
sugar.
pack of Chick-fil-A sauce, I think, is like 175 calories. It's something like that.
Wow.
So
I didn't even know that.
So you're eating the nuggets, and then you're slathering it in the sauce.
I was just talking about the bread on the chicken sandwich. I've heard is just loaded with sugar. And that's why everybody's like, oh, it's so good.
The grilled nuggets are amazing.
Yeah.
If you're trying to go healthy.
It's just, I don't know. There's no healthy options out there.
Right.
But
there are. It's way better. We talked about this yesterday, and we've also talked about one of our long-term goals is to have a full-time housekeeper chef. I mean, that's one of my goals, because if I don't have soups, like healthy soups, not like you buy it from the ready-made at Safeway.
Yeah.
Like if I don't have ready-made healthy soups, I'm gonna give another shout out because Dr. Mowry, who's on Ken Island, she has a cookbook that I love that I make soups from, and it's all clean. And I had to dedicate the hour last night to making soups so that I have 3 jars. I was exhausted and grumpy.
Yeah. It was
It was fun. Yeah. So if I don't have go-to soups, salads, fruits, vegetables, nuts, nut butters to fill me up, I'm gonna end up eating junk.
Yeah.
So I forgot but yeah, so to your point, it's hard to
eat healthy.
Healthy out unless you're prepared.
Yep. And it's hard to get opinions from everybody because everybody's got, like, you do this diet.
Right.
You know, everybody's walking in like Mr. Mackey from South Park, gluten. I'm no gluten for me. I can't do his accent. It's too early in the morning. We normally do this at 9:30. I'm normally a ball of energy.
I'm all about this 7 a.m. podcast.
No, I'm still not up.
Yeah.
Got up, worked out 6. Erin beat me. She was up at 5, worked out.
You were up at 6, and
it's
Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I'm very impressed.
All right, I'll do it. All right, next topic.
Yes.
Food. You got me hungry, so let's move over to gratitude. 'Tis the season. I'm grateful for food.
Are you gonna gripe about your November?
No, I won't gripe.
Okay.
I won't gripe.
Okay.
I won't be mean. I'll be grateful.
Well, I think we see a lot of grateful posts in November, but why not November, December, January? Like, let's get into a practice. Let's get into a habit. It takes less than 5 minutes.
Yep.
To be grateful. And gratitude, I was a gratitude skeptic before, meaning, of course I'm grateful for my family. Of course I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for my staff. I'm grateful for my clients, my business, all the things. But when people go, oh, practice gratitude, I had trouble getting into a practice. And I also kind of had trouble seeing how it would change my life. And now that I'm in a practice, it literally is life-changing, and your life will be better. You wanted to talk about this, right?
Yep.
The practice?
Yep, the practice.
So we've mentioned...
Because I've done it wrong for like 2.5 months now. And I'm like finally getting it right.
What part was wrong?
Like, I wasn't being grateful for like the little things that happened the day before.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was grateful for like the things that you're obliged to say you're grateful for.
Like your family.
Otherwise,
your house.
you're looked at like you're a terrible human being.
Right.
Like, who is that psycho?
You are a monster.
Yeah.
Right.
So I wasn't doing the little things.
Okay, gotcha.
So walk people through. Don't be a monster.
Don't be a monster. So everyone knows I'm a Rachel Hollis groupie. I sort of feel like you're becoming one too. Like Rachel Dave, like you're kind of you're getting into it. But
I am building our social media following.
You're doing a middle school arm's length dance relationship.
We're, little on the hips, but we're leaving room for Jesus.
Okay.
Right.
No, and I'm a groupie. But she has a Start Today journal practice where the first part of it, and you ideally should start your day with it. I work out before I do it just because I'm in a better mood. And you write in a journal 5 things that you're grateful for, which happened in the last 24 hours. So it gets you away from just my house, my clothes, but the little things that you noticed that you're grateful for yesterday. So it could be, wow, it's November. The weather was walking weather yesterday.
Yeah.
It wasn't really cold.
Yeah.
And that was really nice that I could get a walk in.
Yeah.
So that's an example. Or I really enjoyed that time that I snuggled with Parker by the fire before she had to go to cheerleading practice. Or just looking down at your coffee being like, hot coffee is the jam. Like, it's the best.
But don't
right?
you think that's a little extreme? Like being like so grateful all the time. Isn't
Well,
there a breaking point?
You're not grateful all the time, but since you have this practice and I'm a list checker, like I need to know what I'm accomplishing in a day. So if I know that I have this accountability that I'm gonna need to come up with things that I'm grateful for, I'm looking for things that are great. And feeling great about something it's just, no one's gonna argue that it feels better than feeling bad about something or feeling not great. So you look for things that you wouldn't have looked for before. And can I tell a story?
Sure, go for it.
So just based on things that have happened in my past, I have tended to look for when people are not standing up for me. Like, I think it was really crappy that in this meeting, this person didn't stand up for me, or your mom looked at me the wrong way, Kevin, and you didn't stand up for me. Like,
Mother.
Yes. So I'm picking on her. It's cool, but I tend to look for when people didn't do what they were supposed to do. And ever since I started this gratitude practice in August,
Okay.
It's been a while. It's a habit. Ever since I finished, I noticed the other day, there were 2 things that happened that could have really ruined my day.
Yeah.
There were 2 things. And I noticed when like 3 clients of mine came to my defense. Like of course I noticed that the thing went wrong that could have ruined my day.
Yeah.
But what I noticed more was that there were 3 people who were advocating for me who didn't have to.
Yep.
And that's the part I noticed, and that went in my journal. Like, wow, these people really, they
That's awesome.
They stood up. So
Yeah, that's great.
does that
Yeah,
help?
that does help.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Right.
One thing I've started to do, and I literally did this yesterday, this is a little sidebar. Might not have to do with gratitude, but it is a way to like cope with what you're saying. Is something that could like absolutely ruin your day. That's what I'm picking up on. If you take 5 minutes stewing over something that you're not going to remember in 5 years, like just stop.
Right.
And I've started to initiate that practice. So I'm grateful. I'm going to write in my gratitude journal that I'm grateful that I started that
For
practice.
perspective. Sometimes you're grateful for perspective.
That's right. That's
that.
right. But no, I think it's huge. Like, just stop, people. Give yourself a quick second. Take a deep breath. Whatever you got to do. But think about it. Am I going to remember what I'm mad about in 5 years' time?
And also realizing that everybody goes through that. I think for a while we're supposed to tap dance and act like everything's perfect.
Yeah.
And when you realize that everybody has stuff like that happens,
Yeah.
and it's up to you. I mean, no one's thinking about it as much as you are.
Nope.
Nobody's stewing about it. They're worried about their own thing.
Yeah.
So that perspective, like, this happens to everybody and we're just gonna move on.
Yep.
One more tip on gratitude. When I'm trying to fall asleep at night, I focus on things that I was grateful for that day, because I know when the alarm goes off at 5, I'm gonna write it in my journal after I work out. So when I'm trying to fall asleep, I'm brainstorming about things that I was grateful for that day, so that writing in the journal is easy.
Gotcha. You're such a planner. Pre-night planner. She
I
plans
wasn't always though.
plans her workout she's gonna do in the morning, so she just has to wake up
I just
and
want
do
to make it easy. I'm actually lazy. That's the secret. I just want to make it super easy.
That's I did not know that about you.
Touche.
Do you like how I did that?
Yes.
All right, tonight, everybody, are you ready? It is Wednesday, the night before Thanksgiving. It is officially the biggest drinking night of the year. You knew that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You did know that about me. Everyone has to deal with family tomorrow. And it might not just be, you might love your family, but it's normally, you know, what comes along with your family is that in-laws, aunts and uncles that always ask you inappropriate questions. Mom that is like, when are you having the next baby? That's my mother voice.
Or like, you shouldn't be parenting your children that way.
Oh my God, don't get me started. You want to get me mad? Tell me how I should parent my kids. And we're gonna brawl. So, there are a couple different ways to deal with your family tomorrow. One is the hangover method. Just go out, go rock it up tonight, people. Go party it up that you don't even feel tomorrow.
And we totally are going to have a podcast episode on vices. I don't know when, but probably in the next month, we're going to talk about
Partying
all your vices.
And then, are you going to drink through the holidays? Some people do that.
Oh, okay. I think you're asking me.
No. I know you're not drinking. And then, or are you going to go into with a rockin' attitude? And that's what I want to talk to the people today about.
Okay.
Setting the right expectations. All right. Because obviously, if you want to drink, have fun. Who doesn't like to enjoy a couple or many? But if you approach a situation that you want to have a rockin' time, you know, Uncle Louie, he's going to bring up politics, but I'm not going to let that get me down. I'm just going to smile through it. I'm going to engage. I want to ask him questions to get his perspective of why he thinks that is right. I don't want to show up with my talking points of, oh, I'm going to stick it to him.
Right.
I'm going to make him feel terrible by the end of this because I have my side of the aisle's talking points.
You're going to listen to understand. You're not going to listen to fire back.
And I'm going to bring up topics that are going to engage and make it fun. You know, one weird topic that has blown my mind this year. This is kind of crazy. For those that don't know, I started a food YouTube channel, and everybody now thinks I'm an expert in food. I'm not an expert in food. I just like to cook and I like to eat, but everybody's always, I get text messages all the time, I'm cooking this, how do I do it? And it's kind of mind-boggling because it puts a lot of pressure on me. I'm like worried about my friend's dinner in New Jersey last night because he's texting me like, how should I cook this steak?
Right.
So there's a lot of pressure, but I love it. What I found though is this summer I was talking to a real stick in the mud. Somebody's son that was high on his horse. And what I couldn't talk to him about anything because he was just so arrogant. But I brought up, he was well traveled. And every place he said, I said, what was the best food you had while you were in wherever? And it changed the dynamic.
Right.
The conversation went everybody loves food, and he went from this really stiff to like, nobody's ever asked me that.
Right.
Like people are always talking about my accolades, like how I'm so professional and how I'm special. But he instantly went from like this memory of, oh my God, when I was in this country, I had this food that was amazing.
Right.
So dig down.
It connects you.
Yeah, dig down a little deeper with people instead of, you know, they're bantering about politics or religion or sex. I don't think anybody's talking about that. But those are like the three faux pas, right?
By the way, Kevin's channel, Comparison Cooking, on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook.
All that good stuff.
Right? And so how are you going to prepare to go into these conversations? Like, how are you going to mentally prepare?
That's why don't you jump into that one?
So Brendan Burchard is one of my online mentors. He wrote High Performance Habits, and he studies the habits of high performers. Go figure. And one of his methods is setting the intention for the situation. So if you're going into Thanksgiving dinner, there are a few personalities you might not jive with. You can literally pep yourself up and be like, and picture the interaction going positively. So I'm gonna go in there, it's gonna be a great time. Aunt Betty's not gonna get me down. Like, this is gonna be a great day. And so picturing and setting yourself up for the situation is simple yet effective. So I plan on doing that. Okay.
No, I actually lead in my BNI group, I lead a networking education. And people don't like to network. Well, think of Thanksgiving like you don't like to network. It is the same exact concept. And like you're saying is, I coach people, sit in your car before you go in. Think about the positive experience you're going to have in there. Think about having conversations that are going to move you one step further in whatever goal you have. That is, to get closer to your family in this situation. Maybe you don't want to, but maybe your goal is, I don't want to piss off the family this year, because I tend to do that. Or they piss me off and I don't want that to happen. So just think about it beforehand. I'm not going to let them get under my skin. What are the things that I know they like to talk about historically? I always like to bring up memories because they're older now. Everybody's getting older. I was telling my uncle the other day about an experience we had together, and he's like, I don't remember. You remember that? I can't believe that. And after that, politics didn't come up. Nothing controversial came up. It brought back this memory of like happiness. And I think, that's where people want to be.
Totally. Yeah, so I think the name of this episode, I think we were going to call it Fooditude, almost like food and gratitude.
Yeah.
And another funny fact, one of our friends, Tori, when we started dating, Brad and Angelina were together, maybe newly together.
Yeah.
And so our friend Tori called us Kavarin for Kevin and Aaron. So this is supposed to be the Fooditude.
No, this is the Kavarin.
The Kavarin episode on Fooditude and family.
Oh my God.
So,
I forget. We talked about that this past week, but it's been so crazy. Like every topic we literally just talked about. I know we talked about it, but I can't even remember.
When isn't it crazy? Like, it's just how we do.
It's how you gotta roll, people. It's how you gotta roll.
It's our style.
All right, you know the drill. Any last thoughts before we get out of here besides share with your friends?
Please.
It's the holidays. Give us a little love. Share us with your friends. Tell them to check this out. And we wish you a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye, guys.